the Bowels of Netflix, where your fearless co-hosts Isaac and Larry force each other to watch the worst pieces of shit on Netflix. We will go over every bad edit, all the broken dialogue, all the wooden acting, and laugh along the way, because this is the Bowels of Netflix!
Alright, welcome to the Bowels of Netflix. I'm Isaac, and with me as always is my fearless co-host Larry. How are you doing this week, Larry?
In this corner, a shitty podcast host. I don't. That's
Who are
not,
you versing?
Another shitty podcast host. Who has more hair than the first man.
Back hair doesn't count.
It does.
Man, I'm starting to get weird hairs. Like, I had a nose hair that just came out of nowhere that was 2 inches long. It's like, what is this?
I am both going bald and going gray at 27. So
Yeah.
go fuck yourself.
Oh, I'm getting some gray in the beard. I'm not getting the bald, but...
I'll tell you what, the gray in the hair doesn't bother me in the slightest. The gray in the beard bothers me immensely.
Well, when you say the gray in the beard, that just sounds like a melancholy in your soul.
It really... Oh, God, that's right. That's my name.
Yeah, that is your name.
The
Wow.
gray in the beard sound... That should be the name of my autobiography.
That's a good point.
I hate you, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome for that. So we are the Bowels of Netflix. We're a couple of shitty, crazy podcasters. What we like to do is force each other to watch terrible movies and then describe them in excruciating detail. You could find us online, the social media.
The sociopaths.
Who inhabit the social media landscape. Facebook and Twitter, those are both at Bowels of Netflix. You can tweet us, twaddle us, poke us, whatever you do over there. And if you want to send us an email, that's bowelsofnetflix@gmail.com. If you have any thoughts on the show, or if you've seen any of these movies yourself and have any experiences or suggestions for other terrible movies, we would love to hear any of those fun details. And I think that's pretty much it. Did I cover all the things?
That sounds like all the things.
Oh, rate, subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
You love us. 5 stars.
Yep. While I was walking the dog yesterday, I was thinking about, like, I'm running out of jokes to use for, like, the swipe us on Tinder, match us on JDate, stuff like that. I'm thinking, like, I am running out of websites to encourage you to go visit us on. So I'd like to take suggestions for website for jokes.
We should start our own social media conglomerate.
Yeah. Dating for Jewish clowns.
I don't know if
Bump
there's enough
my
Jewish
nose
clowns.
on clown Jew. Is that what the kids do?
I feel like cunnilingus gets pretty challenging when you have face paint on.
When you're giving the cunnilingus with face paint on. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
That.
I mean, if you ate out a clown, I guess that'd be fine.
What if it's a juggalette?
Well, it depends how far down she's painted.
All the way down.
Well,
anyway.
There you go. So, Larry, you're talking about a movie this week. What did you get yourself into?
Well,
what did I get you into? I'm not sorry.
Real quick, you should be. Real quick before we get into that, I just want to briefly tell you how my day went. It's close to 11 o'clock on what is it, Thursday? Thursday. It's close to 11 o'clock on Thursday.
Who knows?
It's the first snowfall of the season here, and me, being me, managed to get my car stuck on the way home completely and utterly because I am the worst driver.
You do work on top of a large hill.
I do.
There's
And
no good way to get down that hill in the snow.
There's really not. And in fairness, to get to where I live, you do have to go up some kind of hill. And my car just cannot make it.
That's
So
one nice thing about New Jersey. It's flat.
yeah, I feel like the American heartland doesn't have to deal with this kind of shit. But,
That's true.
And we do live. I do live on like the foothills of a mountain ish. But
Yeah, you're basically in Appalachia. That's why you never wear shoes.
yeah, true. Oh God. Well, we'll get to that. But
Okay.
the long and short of it is, I got my car stuck, and because it's the first snow and no one can drive, it's not just me. I just happen to lead the pack of terrible drivers. AAA was not picking up. I was in a spot where I was going to die if I stayed there for too long because of the way where I was and because of the way the road was and because I was near the crest of a hill. Being me, I funneled all of my anger and frustration and hate of myself into literally digging my car out like a Wolverine with my hands and feet, and probably would have used my teeth had I had been able to. On the ground, burrowing into the dirt and mud and snow and hate. Just so... And in the course of getting that out, the wave of badassedness I felt was countered by the wave of shame I felt for getting stuck in the first place, and the shame of my father and stepfather and grandfather and forefathers all looking down at me and saying, I can't believe you got your car fucking stuck. So I'm at rare neutral.
Oh, well, it all balanced out.
I'm not coming in
That's
hot
good.
and I'm not coming in cold. I've evened out.
A good way to keep your car from getting stuck is if you keep 2 to 3 dead bodies in your trunk. It'll anchor the back wheels down and get you more traction. Or cat litter,
come up
whatever.
to help, I think I would have killed them and used them for traction, yes, at that point. I also cannot feel my feet.
Still. This has been several hours now.
It's starting to come back to it, but they stayed cold for way longer than they should have.
Are any of the little piggies black?
No,
you need
it's
to go
all
to
good.
a hospital.
No, I'm probably fine.
Oh, God.
Look, this could be the first live amputation on a podcast.
Yeah, I was
going to
say, next week we'll be joined by Gangrenous Larry.
Ratings gold. Anyway, but so, because you hear the words Russell Madness, and you think, oh God, that sounds like it belongs in the Airbud universe, and you'd be right.
Or it sounds like a Russell Crowe vlog.
That just sounds like his daily life. Isn't he like the weirdo, crazy person?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know much about him. I might just be thinking of his character from A Beautiful Mind and assuming that's who he is in real life.
I think he did like one of those screaming at his daughter things. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking Alec Baldwin. I know Alec Baldwin did that, but I think Russell Crowe did that too. I don't know, man.
Screaming at his daughter and what?
Just being an asshole.
Oh, okay.
And getting caught doing it, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's an asshole. Or he just got in fights, I think, with people. Something weird.
Like fistfights?
I think so.
Sweet. I want to watch Russell Crowe punch a dude.
He's a big dumb Australian, isn't he? I mean, not to malign the Australians. I think he is.
I'm very fond of Australia. I would consider
them.
myself an Australia-phile.
Nicole Kidman's Australian.
What's that?
Nicole Kidman. She's getting old. She was my heartthrob for a little while. But now she's like 95.
I know who she is, but don't know who she is. But anyway, I'm talking about the Airbud universe. So
Nicole Kidman's not part of that? I'm disappointed.
Not yet. There's some weird names part of this. But once again, we're back. You couldn't stay away. You couldn't stay out of Robert Vince's asshole.
I kept away, I think, for about a dozen episodes.
You did good. There's a lot to
credit.
choose from.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's 25 movies, and I'm pretty sure all of them are on Netflix.
Yeah, except I think the first, the one starring actual Buddy.
Yeah,
maybe that was Spaghetti Di Coco's agreement.
I think Disney still owns that. You can watch that in China, though. I do want to point out, while looking for materials for this movie, I did watch the trailer for Pup Star 4.
Oh, that's coming out soon, I guess?
It's a Christmas episode.
Ooh.
So let's decide now. Are we fucking doing it? Are we doing it on a Pup Star Christmas, or are we going to save it for another year?
Well, I don't want you to give me Pup Star Christmas, because I'll probably hang myself. But
I have to... If there's going to be Pup Star Christmas, you've got to give it to fucking me, because I know all the characters, and if Pup Star 3 did not demonstrate you need a working knowledge of the Pup Star universe, then nothing will.
I don't know. Maybe... Because there's some good Lifetimey, Hallmarky kind of Christmas movies that I really was feeling. So
see, Talking Dogs I can handle.
we might have to suspend Pup Star Christmas for next year.
Oh, God.
But we'll see. Well, if anyone out there in audience land has any suggestions, let us know. Now, how do you want Larry to suffer this holiday season?
Well, this one's not going to be as much as even if I wasn't Blackfeet neutral. I don't think that this one. I don't know. Russell Madness definitely did not do what Pup Star did to me.
It's because it's wrestling.
No.
You feel safe there.
Oh, no, that has nothing to do with it.
I feel like it does. You just won't acknowledge it.
No. Well, we'll be talking a lot
You're
about wrestling.
Sick pervert who is secretly a juggalo, too, so I don't trust anything.
I'm not secretly a juggalo. I quietly admire the Insane Clown Posse for
You're
their...
transitioning to juggalodom.
They're really growing on me, Isaac. The more I hear about them, they're really growing on me.
They shouldn't. Yeah, you know what else does that? Cancer.
Russell Madness. God fucking. It was made in 2015. IMDb currently holds a 4.3, which is a little lower than average. And Rotten Tomatoes, no tomato meter, shock of the fucking year, and has a 38%. I do not remember what that is compared to the other one, the Pup Star.
Yeah, I don't recall Pup Star offhand, but that's generally fairly low, but obviously enough. It just sad, tired moms gave it a good review because it shuts their kids up for 90 minutes.
Yeah, and this is a movie I've known about for a while. I know the villain. Well, I know both villains, weirdly enough. I know one from the wrestling world and one from Cheers, but we'll get to that.
Interesting.
But yeah, just because I know a group of YouTubers I watched actually reviewed this a while ago that I hadn't watched, and I watched it since, and interesting stuff. They touched on stuff I did not when I reviewed it. But yeah, this is like a spin-off of the spin-off universe. Like this is even farther away from the Airbud universe than the Pup Star series. But I kind of feel this is an important piece in the evolution of the dogs in the Airbud universe. And when I say evolution of the dogs, I'm talking about literal evolution of the dogs. Because if you'll recall, Pup Star had a storyline related to evolution that allowed dogs to speak human. They never say English because human.
Right, where they actually communicate with humans verbally in the world.
Right. Russell does not. Russell speaks in English, but it's as a dog. He does not speak to humans.
Okay.
He gets a translator, which we're gonna see. But so yeah, it's kind of its own thing. There's been no Russell Madness 2, Russell Harder, or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. I think we've successfully done quite a bit. I think we may be the foremost experts on Robert Vince and the Airbud whole canon. So, at this point, for those of you who listened to our bonus episode some time ago about Spaghetti de Coco, our Lord and Savior Spaghetti de Coco, which I have an idea for a Christmas gift for you.
Oh no! Is it a bunch of spaghetti? Is it Buddy's semen?
Damn it! He found out. I may have acquired a vial of Bud cum that I want you to shoot live on the podcast.
I'd do it too. I would do it.
You'd be some kind of legend.
Also, when you say Airbud cannon, I'm just picturing a firing gold retrievers out of a cannon.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't think they never mention Airbud in this. I don't really know if it has anything. This is just a story told in the Airbud universe, which does kind of flesh part of it out weirdly. I don't know. I want to see like Russell on a billboard in fucking Pup Star 4, but I don't know. I just want it all to work now. This is eventually just going to become an Airbud podcast. And makes me sad.
There's enough material.
We really could, but yeah.
We're 31 episodes deep. We could have done all Airbud universe movies and
we really
still been
have.
okay. We wouldn't have exhausted them.
Oh God. But yeah, so there's nothing really to say. Everything you need to know about the creator and the what led us to this point in history, we've done an episode about. So I guess it's just gonna jump into it. So Russell Madness. The movie starts how they always start. We get what I'm going to tentatively call the most famous basketball shot in history. The first scene in Airbud where Buddy makes the basket.
They really show that at the beginning of every movie?
Every movie. That is
really?
Like you know how like MGM has the lion and like DreamWorks has a little kid on the moon. Like,
Ew.
that's their sting, is Airbud shooting the ball for Airbud.
I wonder if that was part of fucking Spaghetti's plea deal or whatever.
I don't know, man. Spaghetti... I think the modern day Airbud Entertainment was established long after Spaghetti was murdered from Disney. His name has been stricken from the records of Disney. Like, they I don't know how they, like, erase a name they've carved into a stone somewhere. Well, I assume it involves some kind of blood magic.
They've changed it from Spaghetti de Coco to Kevin DeCiccio or whatever.
Oh, yeah, DeCiccio. That's right. Yeah, that's how you get it. See, like, which one's his true name? Because that's how you get his power.
Spaghetti.
Okay.
It's definitely Spaghetti.
I want the last episode of this podcast to be us interviewing him.
Hopefully we'll get there. What do we lure him in with Spaghetti?
If we tell him we have a money-making scheme, I think he'll show up. If we just put an ad out in California, like in a California Craigslist, that we need, like, fucking dogs what do ballet, I guarantee you Spaghetti's gonna call.
It's true.
That's how we lure him out of hiding. Hope he doesn't listen to this. Kevin, if you listen to this, we're giant fans. It's all in love, Spaghetti. You were the hero of the Airbud story.
You truly were.
Fair warning, I'm going to make allusions to pro wrestling this episode, since it's something Isaac and I both quite enjoy. However, believe it or not, it's actually far less than you'd think. There's not a whole lot about wrestling worth a damn in this movie. And in fact, to my knowledge, there's only 2 wrestlers of any actual renown in the entire movie, which is odd considering there's a billion wrestlers in the world who have no work and would love to do a movie like this. The movie has like a grand total of 5 wrestlers. So really, just... it's very strange and just indicative that the movie has nothing to do with wrestling at all. It's just a family movie. So I guess I won't actually be talking about it too much. I don't know why I bothered. And we go into Airbud Entertainment presents a Robert Vince film, because fuck you, Isaac. Fuck you. I'll fucking kill you, you fuck.
Robert Vince got 9 blondes he can just fucking plow whenever he wants on his yacht.
Yeah. God. He's like got a yacht that's inside. He's got a small yacht in like the pool of a larger yacht.
Yeah. A boat within a boat.
He's so rich. It makes me angry how rich he is.
Does that count as child slavery? Because the only reason he's rich is children. It's close. It's knocking on the door.
It's not slavery, but it's slavery adjacent.
Slavery of the mind.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like America. So, Russell Madness. We see a man, a full-grown human man, and a Jack Russell Terrier, which, for those of you who don't know, is a dog. Both are in ridiculous pro wrestling unitards with wrestling belts and an old-timey wrestling ring. A voiceover tells us that the speaker, the dog is the speaker, is part of the greatest tag team wrestling duo of all time. So, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, Team Hell No, the Hardys, Road Warriors, Mega Powers, The Bar, all shit! Generic tall man and dog, for sure.
You didn't mention the Usos. I'm confused.
I didn't. You know what? I meant to say the Usos and New Day, but I think I got a phone call in the middle of that and had to scramble to finish it. Yeah, because I actually remember wanting to write both of those down because they're both great. So yeah, the dog says he found that which he wanted most, which was not the tag team championships. It was a family. And the dog's voice is like, "Hi, my name is Russell, and all I've ever wanted was a family." And thankfully, he doesn't talk much because it's really fucking grating. So we see Russell's origin story. He's in a pet store mentioning that he is a scaredy dog. He gets picked up by a kid and promptly pees on him because apparently Russell is scared of everything.
Fair enough.
The guy working at the pet store, whose name I don't know that I ever learned, speaks kindly to Russell, telling him that he has to stop peeing on the customers or he'll never find a family. The guy's nice, but generic. His fat white boss does not want to hear any of generic pet store guy's shit as we see Russell grow from a puppy into a teenage dog. Do dogs have stages between puppies and grown-up dogs?
I'd imagine so. Probably not as much as, emotional development, but...
I didn't think so, but...
There's a chart at the vet that,
What is a teenage dog called?
I guess a teenage dog? I don't know.
We need to give it a word. We need to corner this market.
Dog tween.
A dog tween. Okay. So he turns from a puppy into a dog tween. All right.
It's the worst idea ever.
So there's constant Russell narration over this part, but doesn't really say anything worth saying. He just sort of explains that he's bad at not peeing on people. Yeah, we see our human protagonists, the Ferraros, arrive at what looks like an old-timey movie theater, proudly emblazoned with Ferraro Wrestling on the marquee. Russell tells us their names, which are Nate, the dad, Colleen, the wife, Max, the son, and Lena, the daughter. The parents are in their mid to late 30s. The son is like 12, and the daughter is maybe 6. Anyway, they have the most generic white person names I've ever heard of, so I'm going to call them Wrestling Dad, Wrestling Mom, Wrestling Son. And I don't think the daughter ever contributes anything towards the plot once they find the monkey, so I'm just going to call her Lena, because that's her name. So
She's just there to be cute.
Might as well give her something, yeah. By the way, this movie also has a monkey in it. I don't know if we mentioned that, but yeah. Yeah, dog and monkey. It's literally a dog and monkey show. It's almost... You throw a pony in there, and we've got 1920s entertainment.
Surprised there's not a pony.
I wish. I really wish there was. So, Wrestling Son is freaking out with excitement at the shitty old fucking wrestling theater, despite the fact that it looks old and decrepit as fuck from the outside, being even boarded up. They go inside, and it's fucking old as shit. Like, old. Like, early 50s old. We see a monkey in a little jacket and a hat sort of stalking them around the theater, which would surprise me if the monkey was not on every goddamn piece of media for this movie, because the monkey is more of a star than the fucking dog. Okay. We'll get to that. It's like a little capuchin monkey, which I don't know that I'm saying that right, but they're like... I don't know. We'll get to it.
They walk around on their back feet. And...
Yes.
Yeah. They're, like 2 feet tall or something?
Yeah. I think I said the monkey's about 2 foot tall.
Okay.
They go inside to the ring area, and we see it looks very similar, if smaller, to the old Hammerstein Ballroom, which is famously a wrestling destination, so I think that was a weird nod, even though it doesn't go anywhere. So it's like, imagine like in any small city in America, they have like an old-style theater with a balcony and sort of very like old Greek feel with like columns, and you've got like the box, like Phantom of the Opera style. So think of that.
Seats like what, a few hundred probably.
Yeah,
something like that.
This is smaller than that, but yeah, they're very similar. This probably seats like maybe 200 max. Probably they have a lot of extras in this. I don't know. They really filled it out with extras when they could have like very easily CGI'd a bunch of shit in, but they put money into paying people to stand there and pretend to cheer. So yeah, and it's like, instead of being a stage, the stage is in the middle, so everyone's all around it.
I think you estimate poorly the amount of people who will not get paid and waste an entire day or days just to be in an Airbud movie. Because I don't think any of those extras got paid. They got a sandwich at best from the catering table.
Can we please be in an Airbud?
We probably just have to move to LA and live there for years.
Yeah, we'd have to become established extras to be extras in an Airbud.
Gotta practice saying peas and carrots a lot.
Robert Vince is gonna die before that. Of old age, not because someone's going to hurt him. He's
gonna overdose on sex with blondes and yachts.
You have a really weird Robert Vince yacht and blonde fetish that always comes up when we talk about him.
Yeah, it's the only masturbation fantasy I have. So
I think we're just finding out what you would do with your money.
Fuck blondes on yachts with Robert Vince and high-five him all day.
Thank you. You went where I was hoping you would go. With Robert Vince is the important part. So they're in this fucking old wrestling ring. It's old as shit. The seats are shitty. The ropes are all broken and crappy. It's a junker. As someone who was recently in a housing market, seeing this dusty, decrepit old place just fills me with dread at all the inherent issues certainly present in it. Not to mention the fact that it's like a very, very old wrestling ring in the middle of the fucking 2010s. Wrestling Son reads, emblazoned proudly on the wall, the Ferraro family motto. Would you like to take a guess at what the Ferraro family motto is, Isaac?
Never give up, never quit, something.
The strongest tag team is family.
Gross. Ew.
Wrestling Son is like doing his own commentary as he runs the ropes, blah, blah, blah. Wrestling Mom says to Wrestling Dad that she can feel his grandfather's presence here. Not sure if ghost or just Wrestling Dad's hand on her curvaceous bottom, reminding her of the caresses Papa Ferraro, of whom she truly loved and settled down for his grandson. Instead, okay, I'm really sorry, I have nothing.
Damn.
I'm just trying to make my own fun, because it's been 3 minutes, and I'm already bored.
We got a window into your sexual fantasies there. Papa Ferraro, caress me.
I like having my bottom caressed by old ghosts. So, Wrestling Dad explains he just wants to sell the damn place, but Wrestling Mom is excited that with the acquisition of the wrestling ring, they can spend quality family time together, not having Wrestling Dad cooped up for 12 hours in the office all the time. I spent 12 hours in my office today and want to die, so yeah, I can respect that. They go upstairs to the living quarters of the wrestling arena, ? And it's even grosser than downstairs. It's just old mid-century style, never been updated, like really gaudy wallpaper and gross fluffy red couches, and it's gross and I hate it. The whole family is just like, yeah, this is great, I love it, we're having an adventure because we're a happy family, we're the pinnacle of happiness. So Wrestling Dad produces the will of his grandfather, which states that the family has to turn a profit in 1 year, after which they can sell the property. I don't know if that's how wills work.
It sounds like fucking Brewster's Millions or some ridiculous shit.
I mean, maybe, but I somehow don't think that's really an enforceable stipulation, you know?
I wonder how you'd get into the weeds with that legally. If we have any lawyer listeners who are wasting their lives listening to us.
Like, what lawyer is going to take that case? I've been the executor of a will, and first of all, it's a fucking nightmare. Don't do it. Second of all, I feel like that's a really hard thing to enforce. Besides the ghost of Papa Ferraro feeling up his wife, who's going to really know?
Actually, thinking of it now, I want to make my will all kinds of crazy.
Oh, I hope so.
Like, yeah, you only get this money if you sleep on my grave for a week with, nothing but a butane torch and a pack of hot dogs.
That's going to be really odd when, like, other people are having funerals and I'm, like, just trying to unabashedly wash. Just walking by, like, hey, you guys having a cheese plate at the reception because I'm almost out of hot dogs?
I'm about to get my millions.
If I don't sleep in this grave for 2 more days, I don't get his record collection.
Yeah.
So the family's wandering around their fucking living quarters, and the monkey wanders by Lena, dropping his action figure, which she picks up. It's like a generic action figure of a wrestler and a ridiculous unitard. She brings it to Wrestling's son and mentions the monkey, but he brushes her off. Meanwhile, in the ... costume room, gigantic air quotes there, Wrestling Mom is admiring the costumes that are at least 60 years old. So the fact that they're not disintegrating in her hands just says a lot. And she's talking about the old-timey sewing machine in the room. A sewing machine we never really get to see. It's covered up, but she spends like a minute talking about it. This is vaguely important as it will come up later, which is why I mention it now, even though it seems like a scene that will go nowhere. Back at the pet shop, the generic nice guy who likes Russell, apparently is named Derek. Apparently I did remember his name. According to Fat White Boss, who I thought might briefly be Bubba Dudley, who is a wrestler, which would have been, hey, look, they did put a wrestler in this, but sadly it was not. Fat White Boss gets pissed on by Russell again, and he tells Derek that Russell's headed for the pound since he is no longer a puppy. Another dog tells Russell, which, again, by the way, animals talk in this movie, but not to humans. Like I said, we're in the Airbud timeline. We've now, because there's a definite timeline in the Airbud universe where Airbud cannot talk until Airbud 5.
Where the dogs can talk amongst themselves.
Yes, because when the puppies show up, I think in one of the movies before he talks to another dog. I think the dog he fucks puppies into. And then the puppies are just full-time talk, but only to themselves. And then...
But now we're getting interspecies, because the dog and the monkey talk.
That's right, we're going to get there.
Okay.
But we're not... In Pup Star, which is the farthest along in the timeline, now it's just dogs and humans are best friends, they're fucking, they're sleeping together, they're doing sex with each other.
Wait, they were sleeping together? I forgot that part.
I mean, look, it's Disney-esque, so you just gotta make assumptions.
It's implied, okay.
Right. I assume that Roland was just giving it to Kano, backstage at Pupstar.
I mean, it makes, the logistics of having sex with a Great Dane I'm okay with. A Chihuahua is a problem.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's easier to just hold up to... You know what? But anyway, yeah. So Russell talks to not to humans, but he does talk to the monkey. And as we're going to see, the monkey can talk to humans. So this Russell madness exists to make that leap of where we're getting humans and animals being able to communicate. Because a monkey, you could kind of believe a monkey can talk to people. But the dogs, no. So eventually the monkey's going to act as Russell's translator. And that's going to lead us to Pupstar. See, I'm going to have a fucking crazy Airbud whole universe theory planned out here. I think after watching enough of these, I'm going to be able to predict the next Airbud feature.
How smart do you think Robert Vince thinks he is?
6.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I think he probably thinks he's... I really don't know. Because he wrote this and directed it. I'm surprised he doesn't star in it. He gets the fat guy from Sears to star in it, but we'll get to that. So yeah, there's none of the family actors are of any note. They're fine. They do fine. They're just boring. None of the acting in this movie it's fine. It's not. It's just like Pupstar. Like they're getting paid good money, so they put effort into it, and there's none of them are terrible. So I have nothing really to say.
Okay.
So another dog is telling Russell after the boss tells him he's going to the pound. That the pound is where reject dogs go who don't get families who want them. Now, Russell, the only thing Russell wants is a family. He never shuts the fuck up about it. So Derek, the generic pet store guy, tells Fat White Boss that he will adopt Russell then, since no one else will. But instead of getting resolution to that scene, we cut back to the Ferraros. There's minor nonsense with the monkey stalking the dad again. And Wrestling Dad goes to see Wrestling Son in bed playing with the action figure that the monkey dropped. We get exposition here about the dad talking about his time here as a kid, and they read over the history of the arena. We see that the monkey in the present is also in the photos in the past. Apparently, he's supposed to be the same monkey. I had suspicion the monkeys lived that long, didn't live that long, but the average lifespan of a capuchin monkey in captivity is 45 years or more. So I suppose it's not impossible. This could potentially be a possibility that the monkey has lived this long.
Grandpa Monkey.
Yeah. By the way, same monkey from The Hangover.
Oh, cool.
Same monkey actor. Yeah.
That's
apparently,
good to know.
this
that
is
makes
like
me feel happy.
Apparently, she's like the most famous capuchin monkey actor there's ever been. And if you see a capuchin monkey in a movie, it's her.
I'll keep that in mind.
I mean, she plays a male here, that's really breaking boundaries. So yeah, I forgot to look up its name, because what's it going to do? Fight me? It's a fucking monkey. So Wrestling Dad and Wrestling Son talk about the 80s when the arena was bustling. Apparently, despite having the aesthetic of the 40s in the arena, and really it's hardly a fucking arena, it was operating in the 80s when the territories were big. So let's briefly talk about fucking wrestling history, because that's the most goddamn exciting thing you signed up to hear. Blame Isaac for this. So back in the 80s, there was no WWE. There was no centralized wrestling. It was all over the country and called territories, which were like basically kind of how, imagine school districts, but with wrestlers, where like Jim Cornette or other people like that would own a wrestling company, and he'd have like the wrestlers in like southern Tennessee would all work for him, and he'd have like different shows, and he'd have this stable of people that he'd pull in for that. So they briefly touch on that, and that's what the Ferrara Wrestling was, where like they weren't connected to a big company, they just had like their own private gig. And we flash back to the 80s to see what a match from this time was like. We got two generic announcers, one in a hat trying to mimic the famous hat-wearing wrestling announcers of today, of which there are more than two. They matter very little. They're in a lot of scenes in this movie, but one is Fred Willard, who I don't know, but apparently is vaguely famous. He might have been in soap operas or something.
I recognize the name, but I forget what he did.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him, and I didn't bother, because these two characters don't add anything. Wrestling Dad talks about the best wrestler that the company had, who was Il Maniac. I-L Maniac. I don't, whatever. We get to see what an Il Maniac match was like, which we see him in a match with a clown and like some dude dressed up like Julius Caesar, and he just does like very easy to do wrestling moves like airplane spins and stuff you and I could almost do, being fat, out of shape, and not talented in any way. So it's not particularly impressive.
Right.
Wrestling Dad gets all misty and nostalgic while he talks about it, and Wrestling Son asks what happened to make everything crash and burn like it did. Wrestling Dad says that's because Mick Vaughn came to town. Mick Vaughn, who in no way resembles Vince McMahon, owner of the largest wrestling business in the world, is apparently going around and buying up all the small-time wrestling territories on the West Coast, which is no way, again, like what Vince McMahon exactly did. By the way, Mick Vaughn is played by John Ratzenberger, who was Cliff Clavin in Cheers. Which, kids, Cheers was a sitcom in the 80s about people in a bar. It's where Frasier came from. Kids, Frasier was a sitcom in the early 2000s about a psychiatrist. Fuck, I'm getting old. So, I really think that I have this theory that Robert Vince was in his office eating a ham salad sandwich.
Okay.
And he's just thinking about, like, you know what I miss? Cheers. I miss when Cheers was on. You know who's really good at Cheers? Cliff Clavin. Is John Ratzenberger still alive? You know what? He'd be really good at playing like Vince McMahon. You know, I'm going to give him a call. I can write a dog movie about this. I really think that Robert Vince is eating a ham salad sandwich and just thought that would be funny to see John Ratzenberger in a wrestling Speedo pretending he was Vince McMahon.
I can picture that very vividly.
Yeah, it's just... I don't. It's so weird. But we're going to call Mick Vaughn something different. I think let's just call him... Okay, let's work through this. I want to take the name of the creator, right? Not Robert, that's too easy. Okay, Robert Vince does have two first names. So let's just call Mick Vaughn Vince in honor of Robert Vince. And for a last name, well, John Ratzenberger is kind of fat. He looks like he does love his McDonald's. And he is, to all accounts, a man. McDonald's, a man. McDonald's, man. Mick.
I see the logic there.
Mick, man. Okay, that works. Here we go. Let's make his last name McMahon. Just random.
Okay.
Let's randomly call this villain, pulling names out of a hat. But who this guy buying up wrestling territories and owns the biggest wrestling business in the world. Just completely out of nowhere, let's just call him Vince McMahon. Right?
Right.
Just two names. I've just two words I basically made up.
Yeah, pulled him out of your ass. Doesn't relate to the real world at all.
Right.
Good. Okay.
So yeah, Vince McMahon tries to buy up this grandpa's wrestling business, but Grandpa Ferraro won't sell on some measure of honor because he wanted the wrestling arena and business to stay in the family. Much like people who stick to their foolish pride, he loses everything, including his family, who move away once the business goes tits up shortly thereafter, because who the fuck wants to live in a decrepit wrestling arena with Grandpa? Nobody. It sounds like a rape dungeon. Wrestling Dad says
sounds
Grandpa's...
like Triple H would live there.
Probably. Wrestling Dad says Grandpa's heart was broken because he lost his family, which was supposedly the strongest tag team, but I guess not. Apparently, when the family left, they left Grandpa behind to rot in the husk of his wrestling arena, living out his last days as a lonely old man with only his monkey lover to fuck. Wrestling Son wants to bring the Ferraro wrestling business back to the forefront of the sport, but Wrestling Dad wisely says, no way, kid, that's not going to happen. Wrestling Son says, but Dad, you always tell me that just because you lost a round doesn't mean you've lost the match. Yeah, so wrestling doesn't have rounds. That's a boxing metaphor.
Yeah.
You're a stupid, dumb idiot, Robert Vince. Back at the pet store, the fat white boss tries to take Russell to the pound, apparently ignoring his subordinate's earlier claims that he would adopt him, when Russell leaps up, flips, kicks fat white boss into a stack of dog toys, and runs into the street. So there's a lot of CGI in this movie for Russell.
Yeah.
In fairness, in Pup Star, you just had a lot of talented dogs. You had a lot of really talented dogs doing talented dog stuff in Pup Star. In this, you just got a Jack Russell who looks fucking adorable, and you just, like, CGI him to be flipping around a wrestling ring very poorly. And that's just going to get worse, as we'll see. So, yeah, he runs out of the pet store. Fat white boss gives chase for some reason.
We're just going to take him to the pound.
Russell slides across the hood of a car like the Fonz or whatever to escape.
God.
Kids, the Fonz was in a show called Happy Days. I really need to update my references. I'm learning more and more that everything I reference is no longer new.
At least Frasier existed while you were alive.
Yeah. Oh, God. Cheers ran until, 93.
Yeah, that's...
3-year-olds aren't alive. They're just basically masses of cells.
All right, you were born in
absorbing
1990. I always forget that.
Yeah.
You weren't watching Cheers live.
No. I know the theme song by heart, if that helps.
Do you know Happy Days?
No, fuck, Happy Days was shit.
Monday, Tuesday, Happy Days. Come on.
I don't...
You're an asshole.
I know the
You're
song.
an
I don't know the
asshole.
words. I don't like the 50s. I don't like the 50s aesthetic at all. And that's all Happy Days is, and I hated it. The Fonz fucks a lot of teenagers.
Yeah.
No wonder you like that. Does he fuck them on a yacht? Are they blonde? Is Robert Vince there?
It's Henry Winkler. How do you not love Henry Winkler?
Henry Winkler's great.
Yeah.
End statement. So, Russell Okay, wait. We got a scene here where Wrestling Dad calls a local wrestler named Dieter Das Munten, who is a large Swiss man, seemingly. He says on the phone, to wrestle for him, but it doesn't work. Long and short of it is that none of the actual good wrestlers want to work for him because they all work for Vince McMahon. So Wrestling Mom puts out a wrestling ad in Wrestling Craigslist. It's regular Craigslist. I just got carried away. At school, there's a tiny scene here that I feel I need to describe, even though it adds nothing to the plot, because I don't know why Robert Vince put it in here. It's just the son is hanging up a poster that's got two fucking random wrestlers in a match at the Ferrara Arena. And these kids come up and they're like, oh, hey, you live at the Ferrara Arena. You guys are reopening? You little fucks are 10 years old. This
right, yeah.
Grandpa haunted that fucking place like a specter until he finally died and became a specter. So you little fucks don't know anything about it. And we see these kids in the crowd a lot for every wrestling bit henceforth, but they never show up again or do anything else. But they're weirdly here, and it's totally unnecessary, and I hate it.
Maybe they heard the legend of Grandpa Ferraro pumping his monkey full of cum.
That's a euphemism for something. For pumping a monkey with cum, of course. So, God. Russell starts living in a box in the alley behind the wrestling arena. He keeps bitching about wanting a family, and he wishes on a star. This dog is so fucking adorable. I can really look past a lot of it. It's just... What?
You're a softie. I gotta remember that.
Okay, look. Dogs and monkeys in clothes and adorable dogs really do a lot for me, alright? I don't have a child. I don't think I'll ever have a child. So dogs are the children I want.
I'm gonna get you a monkey in clothes and see what that does for you.
It's gonna shit everywhere and probably rip out my throat in my sleep. I don't want one. They're like horses. I can respect their majesty, but I don't want anything to do with them.
Majesty applies to horses, not monkeys.
That monkey, he's got a little fucking Letterman jacket. He's got a hat.
Majesty?
It's majestic. He's wearing a button-down shirt later. They made tiny little buttons for his little monkey fingers. Think about a little monkey putting on a little shirt with his big, stupid monkey hands.
Monkeys are not majestic. We gotta move on, because I will argue about this all night.
So, the monkey sneaks into Lena's room to retake his action figure, and he starts talking to her, because the monkey can, of course, talk to people. Right. Talking dogs, talking monkeys, you name it. We learn also that the monkey is voiced by Will Sasso, who is a comedian that I quite enjoy.
Oh, that's where Will Sasso comes in, because I saw him listed on the cast.
Uh-huh.
He's pretty good.
He was, during its heyday, the best thing on Vine.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Him and fucking
Vines
Lemons, everything
best.
he did with Lemons was great.
Oh my god. Everything he does on Vine is just amazing. He just has this bit where he's just in the back of a car with different people driving, just being Arnold Schwarzenegger, demanding they let him drive. And it just... You'd think it would get old at one point, but it doesn't, because it just stays funny and keeps getting funnier.
He was on Mad TV back in the day, which is the bastardized version of Saturday Night Live. Yeah. But he's pretty good, and he's just randomly in stuff, and he's around.
He's a very funny man. He's really just an absolute delight. He's also in my favorite episode of Drunk History, which I almost had to go to the hospital. I was laughing so hard at. The time
Which one was that? I don't think I saw that one.
No, it was you, me, and your wife. It was.
Oh, really?
It was Al Capone.
Oh, right, the Al Capone one.
Fishing in his swimming pool. I laughed so hard I could not. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I could not breathe. Anyway, so yeah, I really so honestly, Will Sasso as the monkey helped a lot because
damn it,
he does his best and it's all right. Like, it's not offensive. It's not great, but I mean, you work with what you're given. But I feel like there's enough of little bits of humor in there to make it work. So the monkey doesn't really offend me.
I'm scared what your rating is going to come in for this movie is.
Yeah, you should be.
Oh God, oh no.
Well, it's not good, but it's not low.
I should have known.
So he begs Lena not to rat him out to the family, and in return, she wants something from him. We then see the monkey sigh and slowly slip off his robe while she eyes him hungrily, and the camera turns away. Okay, no, she just makes him have a tea party with her.
God damn it.
She puts the monkey in a dress, and as we've discussed before, monkeys and humans' clothing makes me very happy, so I'm totally okay with this. Outside, a friendly chef leaves a bone for Russell, and Russ is soon set upon by an English bulldog named Dozer with an English accent. Fun fact, Dozer would go on to clean up his life and rename himself as Simon Growl, joining the Pupstar universe. This is his origin story. Anyway, the monkey comes and uses a shadow trick to scare off Dozer, saving Russ. Isaac, is that true?
I feel like no, but
I'll never tell. We learned the monkey's name is
doing that.
We learned the monkey's name is Hunk. Did you look up Did you?
No, I didn't.
All right. Good to know.
Stop reminding me. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten my pain.
So the monkey's name is Hunk, not Hunk Hogan, but golly, it's pretty close. Pretty close. The two banter, but blah blah blah. Nothing goes anywhere. Cut to the interior. It's match night. We see a pathetic turnout as a villainous burglar-style wrestler named Vic Vice is in the ring, generally being a heel. Vic Vice is dressed in like the traditional prisoners, black and white. He's got like a ball and chain. He's got a cinder block that he smashes over his head or some shit.
Okay.
The announcers from the 25-year-ago flashback, apparently still alive and having nothing better to do, are providing weak commentary as the face wrestler, Brady Malibu, arrives to the ring carrying a surfboard. Wrestling has good guys and bad guys. The good guys are called faces. The bad guys are called heels. Wrestling is fake. You're aware of that, Isaac. You and I are wrestling fans. Wrestling is not a sport as much as it is a television show.
I think the fleece has been pulled over your eyes. They want you to think it's fake.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
No, wrestling is goddamn fake. The feats of physicality they perform are real, and they're very talented men. However, the outcomes of the matches are predetermined because it is a TV show, much like The Walking Dead. And the fact that in 2018, that's still a thing that people feel the need to go on about, baffles me.
And at the same time, people don't realize that every reality show is fake.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's... So, blah, 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 bullshit nonsense. Brady Malibu's just like a surfer guy. He gets his board smashed over his head, and we get the most pathetic excuse for wrestling I've ever seen without Kevin Nash being in the ring. Brady Malibu runs off after getting beat up, so Wrestling Dad says he's going to get in the ring and fight Vic Vice. Outside, what are those words? Oh, friendly chef. Okay, friendly... I showed Isaac a clip of what my... a snip of what my review looks like. It's just covered in fucking grammatical errors, because I'm hammering words out at top speed with gigantic sausage hands on a very small keyboard.
You shouldn't have started typing a review after you got frostbite on your hands.
It's true. You're not wrong. So outside, the friendly chef gives Russ a sausage, and once again he's accosted by Dozer, which is the big British bulldog who's being... Oh, British bulldog, that's unintentionally a wrestling joke. He's dead. So Dozer accosts Russ, and Russ runs into the arena and eventually gets into the ring itself to escape Dozer. Vic picks Russ up and gets piss sprayed in his face, because that's Russ's character trait, apparently.
Right.
Vic throws Russ to the ground and prepares to throw all of his weight onto Russ, assuredly killing him instantly because he is a maybe 20 pound, if even, Jack Russell Terrier.
They're small dogs.
It's about the size of a fucking shin bone.
Yeah, they're a medium turkey.
Yeah, a medium. You're exactly right. Like a medium turkey. That's perfect.
A 15 pounder.
I think he's actually 25 pounds because it comes up later.
Oh, okay. A medium large turkey.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Vic's about to kill this fucking dog when he trips on a banana peel that Hunk threw into the ring.
Oh my god.
Russell flips all the way over Vic before putting the 6+ foot man into a chokehold. Like he's people into a chokehold. Recall he's a Jack Russell Terrier and not a man, and doesn't have thumbs or hands. But he puts the man into a chokehold and wins the match? ?
As absurd as this is, I do have to back you up for 1 second. Hunk throws the banana peel in the ring?
Yeah, Hunk is like in the rafters.
And not the monkey.
Hunk is the monkey.
Hunk is the monkey.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Who do you think Hunk was?
I don't know.
That's
well,
your
he is
question.
Will Sasso. No, but no, Hunk. I got confused with Hulk Hogan. I assumed it was a person.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, good. Okay, so the monkey threw the banana peel. That makes sense. I'm happy now.
90% of the monkey's dialogue is banana-based.
As it should be.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Okay, so dog chokehold preposterous.
It's very... Preposterous is a good word for it. Like, that really just... watching it, that was the word flashing in my head. Like, this is preposterous. He wins the match that he was not part of, but he wins it. Okay, so then Russ passes
That does
out.
happen in wrestling an awful lot.
No. You don't win a match you're not a part of. You can interfere. You don't win a match you're not in, Isaac, you
All right,
idiot.
you wrestling nerd. All right.
Shut up. Backstage, the family revives Russ, and after some banter, decide to let him stay the night. Wrestling Dad is pissed off because they are now the laughingstock of the wrestling world. Yeah, you already had that covered, dude. This show managed to be worse than a Hulk Hogan run TNA, which is saying a lot. That is a bit of a deep cut, but those of you in the know just chortled or hate me because you're marks for Hulk Hogan. And the more I talk about wrestling, deep cut lore, the less chance I ever have of having sex with a woman again. So I'm going to move on. Next day, the family and Russ are accosted in the street by a gaggle of reporters who are calling them the biggest sensation on YouTube, with over 1 million hits already. That's never ever in human history been an event that's prompted reporters with cameras to show up at your doorstep.
Yeah,
several reporters with several cameras.
1 million hits. Definitely not.
Ridiculous.
Yes.
They say Russ is a star. Lena says something about Wrestling Dad muttering about taking the dog to the pound the night before, so Russell runs and hides in the arena where he encounters Hunk. Hunk now, for the remainder of the movie, has his action figure of Il Maniac, who was the biggest star, the equivalent of John Cena of the 4 Hour Wrestling Company back in the day. And this action figure is like, it's in every shot with the monkey now. And it's kind of funny because, like, it poses the same poses that the monkey does, which sounds stupid, but it's kind of funny. Just because monkeys doing stuff is funny to me.
I was gonna say, yeah, just anything the monkey does, you're gonna like.
I tell you what, Isaac, I don't really like monkeys, but you put a fucking shirt on them and I'm all about it.
Got it. No more monkey movies.
It's monkeys not in clothes I have no interest in. The monkey not in clothes is just a piece of shit. You put a shirt on that monkey, I'm team monkey.
What about a tank top?
Yeah, a shirt's a shirt.
Okay,
Clothes
all
is
right.
clothes.
What about pasties?
I mean, I want to find out what's under him.
All right, good. I got your birthday present planned out.
Oh, God. So, Hunk calls Il Maniac the Italian Stallion, which is most famously the moniker of Rocky, who was a boxer. Robert Finch doesn't know the fucking difference between boxing and wrestling. Okay, got it.
That makes sense.
Just wait. Hunk tells Russ that he's a star, but Russ is clueless about what wrestling even is. Hunk explained that's when it's two large men battle each other for honor, glory, and, of course, a large sum of money. Two large men, is what he says. Rey Mysterio, Hornswoggle, women's wrestling. Anyway, Hunk says that Russell could be a star if he wanted. He tells Russell it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Something that my father has said to me since I was but a lad, which makes me weirdly uncomfortable to hear Will Sasso say it as a small capuchin monkey. I don't know. I didn't like it. It's like...
Yeah.
That's like the thing that my father said to me since I was born.
I hate that fucking line, too. I just hate it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. And it weirded me out.
It's a kind of thing that you think sounds so clever, but it's really not. It's not clever.
It's pretty generic, yeah. I don't know.
It's all of those things where you just invert something, and it's like, oh, wow, is that Confucius? No, you just fucking turning the words inside out to try to sound fucking clever. It's stupid. Yes, fight hard if you want to win. That's all you're saying there.
Hey, the strongest tag team is family.
God damn it.
It's a lot of pomp under the circumstances.
Shut up. I'm getting angry. You like this movie too much.
I really didn't like it. It's just it didn't make me angry at all, and it didn't annoy me enough.
But
it's bad.
For you, that's better than 90% of movies.
Yeah, no, most movies I hate, yeah.
I'm just upset.
I don't like this movie. I do not want to watch it again. And this review might have been one of the longest to write. But I think there was an episode some time ago that I have no memory of that may have taken me longer, which I'm not going to speak of. But this one took me a while because it just was like, there's just nothing to say. It's just there. So yeah, where was I? I've lost my train of... I was talking about monkeys. So yeah, Hunk says he will train Russ to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Hunk tells Russ that in addition, he'll negotiate Russ's inclusion into the Ferraro family, saying that since he speaks human, he'll act as Russ's mouthpiece. And I did the pre-Pup Star evolution, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, Hunk says that he can speak English, well, he always calls it human, because he was an experiment in the 70s, and that's how he learned to talk.
Oh.
Also, lot of recycled monkey footage.
Yes, that's the one thing I saw on IMDb.
There is a ton of recycled monkey footage. Like, you can't... the first time I watched this, I'm like, they show the shot of him raising his right arm. Or, excuse me, her. The actress is a her. She raises her right arm. Well, you know what? I guess has the choice to choose what she just identifies herself as. Anyway. Christ.
I don't think monkeys do.
Yeah, she doesn't get a choice. So there's a shot of her, like, raising her right arm up, and, like, her left shoulder comes up, too. I could do the motion, but it's a podcast, so it doesn't fucking matter. But they use that shot a lot. There's a ton of recycled monkey footage. This monkey was on set for, like, 7 minutes.
She was probably had the highest salary.
Oh,
if she's that much of a goddamn star.
Certainly. We'll get to it later, but the one of the villains, like the key villain in this movie, this woman like went to a fucking screening. She went to the screening of Pup Star, and she took like, are you familiar with Flat Stanley?
No.
Okay, there's like this thing from a fucking kid's book of like a kid gets flattened and his mother takes him everywhere and turned to this fuck. Anyway, she had a picture of her dog on a popsicle stick that she took to the fucking screening of Russell Madness because she's an insane woman, and there's like pictures of her with Robert Vince and the monkey and the villain holding this. And the villain looks very unhappy with his lot in life. And the monkey looks thrilled.
Well, yeah.
She got paid. She's a millionaire.
Yeah, she got paid $1 million bananas.
Oh, God. Do monkeys actually like bananas? Or is that just like a thing?
I don't want to know the answer to that question. Because I'm scared it'll disappoint me.
Yeah, I know. Like, I found out how kittens shouldn't really drink milk.
Yeah.
I found that out in a very sad way. I didn't kill any kittens.
Did you kill a kitten?
No. I didn't kill any kittens.
Did you?
I did make about 6 kittens very sick. They all recovered. They're fine. But it was just like, I gave 6 kittens a very bad weekend.
Yeah, cats are pretty much lactose intolerant. Like 90% of them.
Yep. I know this now. I did not before. So anyway, Hunk summons the Ferraros to the ring, revealing that he can talk. They just kind of roll with it. Oh, this monkey's talking to me. Okay.
You would.
Is he a spaceman?
No, he's a monkey. If a
No,
monkey in a shirt started talking to you, you would roll with it.
I am a naturally suspicious and hateful and spiteful person. You tell me to do something, I'm immediately looking for your angle. Unless you're a spaceman, in which case I'm down for whatever.
No,
monkey talking to me? That's somebody underneath the ring is fucking ventriloquing this monkey.
You would give in to that monkey so fucking fast.
How nice is his shirt? Anyway, Wrestling Dad says he always just thought that Hunk talking was in his imagination. Hunk makes Wrestling Dad apologize to him and the action figure. I like Will Sasso. He makes it funny. Shit happens, blah, blah, blah. Monkey's going to train Russell and also train Wrestling's son. We get to watch this in action as we get a Rocky-esque montage to set to Rocky-esque music. Isaac, what sport did the character Rocky play in the movie Rocky and the other 4 or 5 or actually 6 now?
I think he was a boxer.
Oh, boxing, right. Okay, boxing.
Yes.
Boxing. Boxing is a different fixed sport. Robert Vince, you dumb fuck. This montage isn't particularly interesting or impressive. The song played in the background sounds a lot like the classic Rocky's theme song, which I will now make the mouth tunes for. Larry, stop it. You're reading your stage directions again. Oh, shit. Fuck. Okay. Even has him running up the stairs, for Christ's sake. It's just Rocky.
Yeah.
The family designs his costume to be old and dorky and outdated, just like El Maniac's costume. And then they all buy matching windbreakers that have RM on the front for his new name, which is WrestleManiac.
Okay.
So, Isaac, what's the name of this movie?
Wrestle Madness.
What is the most famous... What's like the biggest wrestling event of the year? What's like the Super Bowl of wrestling?
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. Russell Madness. So, Robert Vince, let's break for a second and let's go back down the spaghetti hole. Let's talk about Robert Vince. Remember how in the Spade de Coco story, Robert Vince maybe did not have the rights to Airbud after spending millions of dollars on it? And you and I have privately thought that there may have been an actual foot race to the patent office between Spaghetti and Robert to see who can patent Airbud first. Because the history is very fuzzy, because that's about where Spaghetti falls off the map.
Yes.
I think he did it again. I think he branded this movie as WrestleMania, and like the janitor who works for the lawyer's office that Vince McMahon hires just heard that, and he's like, "Hey, boss, do you want to do something about this?" Or because Russell Madness is nowhere in the film.
That makes way too much sense, and that's revolting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, tell me about it. So we cut to the next night of matches where we see a battle royale happening between a mummy, a pirate, a caveman, and some fourth guy. By the way, I don't think I mentioned earlier, the family has said Russell's going to have matches now. He's going to be part of the family. He's going to have matches because he's a wrestling dog. Interesting note here about this little battle royale. Like I said, I told you there was 2 wrestlers in this movie of any kind of renown. The pirate is, in fact, someone who is currently on WWE television right now. Would you like to guess who that is? I'm going to give you a hint. It is the lowest possible position you could be in the company while still being on-screen talent.
So it's one of the guys who interviews people?
No, it's an actual wrestler.
Oh, I have no idea.
He's one of Jinder Mahal's goons.
Oh.
He's Samir. He plays Samir Singh, one of the Singh brothers.
I can't believe Jinder's back in a big way. I
Jinder
still
was
can't get
WWE
over
champion,
that.
and I hate Josh forever for it. But let's not get our personal lives. Yeah. So this is who they got. They got one of the Singh brothers. For those of you who don't watch wrestling, it's like imagine the most extra of extras in The Walking Dead, and that being who you got for this. And a movie about wrestling. It's just
the water boy from the Patriots.
It's just like the least impressive possible person you could get. So anyway, the mummy wins and gets the right to face Russell in the main event. We see Vince McMahon, not the actual wrestling mega promoter, but the randomly chosen series of names based on unrelated coincidence that I chose, is eating popcorn in the crowd. In the match, the mummy spins Russell around and fucking throws this terrier across the ring. They cut away from him actually being thrown, But had he been thrown from that far of a spin, it certainly would have killed him. They're small dogs.
You know that from experience. You've done experiments with how far you can throw a dog.
No.
You kitten murdering son of a bitch.
No, I didn't. They lived. When I was 12 years old, I saved a kitten's life that got stuck under a pile of rocks out front of our house. Don't ask me why. My dad was insane. There's a pile of rocks out front of our house.
Was it a trap?
No. Huh.
It probably was. You're just realizing that now.
I'm going to be honest. I never considered that part of it. Well, anyway, I saved like a 2-day-old kitten from what may or may not have been a trap set by my father. A pyramid of rocks. This kitten was trapped under, and I saved its life, and I've always remembered that. And I didn't kill those kittens. I just got them sick.
Okay.
I didn't know.
So
I went and checked.
You're one up on the kitten equation.
All right. There was these kittens behind this one place that I worked at for a month, and after my shifts, I would go out and sit there, and they would just crawl all over me, and it was adorable because they were newborns, and I loved them. And I would just do that. And I went to the CVS next door and got them a saucer of milk one day, and they loved it. They ate for that shit. And I was all happy, and then I told somebody about it, and they're like, you can't give cats milk, you fucking moron. And then I said, oh no, did I just kill 6 kittens? And I went back, and there's a lot of little, very, lethargic kitties who were shitting a lot, but they all lived.
All right.
They all had full lives, or they probably got hit by cars because it was on a major highway. Anyway, where was I? Oh, the dog wrestling a mummy. So there's a mummy wrestling a fucking dog. Hunk tells Russell to channel his inner chi, so Russ grabs the mummy's bandage and unravels him with the ring posts, winning the match. Because I don't think you expected the dog to do any actual moves. Following, Vince McMahon comes to Wrestling Dad and talks to him. Hunk warns Wrestling Dad to not be fooled by anything Vince says. Unfortunately, no one told the actor's agent that in relation to Robert Vince. No one said to the actors, don't listen to anything Robert Vince has to say, but what are you going to do? Vince McMahon tells Wrestling Dad that it's not about the sport anymore, it's about the entertainment. That is 100% correct. A better wrestler makes for a better show, but the sport is way, way, way more about the factor of how entertaining it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Vince offers Wrestling Dad the same deal he offered Wrestling Grandpa, but Wrestling Dad declines as the business is quote-unquote on fire right now. Next day, Wrestling Dad mentions how they've now broken even, and after their next match, they will turn a profit, fulfilling this ridiculous will their sadistic grandfather left them. Do you know, Grandpa probably died in the arena.
He probably died in the monkey.
He probably died in the bed that wrestling parents are fucking on. Like, imagine giving it to your wife. Just giving it to her, like, pat, 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 pat. And you look up, and there's the ghost of your grandpa shit in the bed. Because he laid a crapper in this arena for years, just slowly withering and dying while a monkey watched.
Larry, we might have inherited my grandparents' bed after they died.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious. We sleep in their bed. Neither of them died in the bed, though. But I'm sure they've had a lot of sex in that bed.
Well, I mean, have they?
They had the bed for a while. That's the one thing I want to know. I'm always curious about everyone's sex life. I want to know how much they banged and how long they banged.
Right.
And now I'll never find out.
Right.
Very disappointing.
Well, when you have kids, and they have kids, you can pass it on to them. 4 generations of Earlys have fucked in this bed, my son.
I don't think my parents fucked in it, probably.
Well, there's still time.
That would be complicated.
Yeah, a little bit. What the fuck? What is happening in this? We're getting worse about trying to not talk about the movies. Do you notice that? Anything to not do our job. Alright, so a building inspector shows up. We get comedy here, I'll just fly through it. She inspects the building and finds that it's horribly under code. She gets hurt and covered in slime and electrocuted, blah, blah, blah. Nothing to see here. She says the building will take $65,000 to get fixed, and Wrestling Dad cannot hold any events here until they raise the money. Right. Not sure what to do, Wrestling Dad goes to see Vince McMahon. Cue Death Star music. By the way, the ring, the Ferraro ring, it has 4 ropes, which is something I just realized.
Oh.
You know how many ropes a wrestling ring has?
3.
Yeah. You know what does have 4 ropes? A fucking boxing ring! Are you serious, Robert Vince? So, Wrestling Dad arrives... I gotta not scream, it is midnight. Wrestling Dad arrives at the WUF headquarters, the Wrestlers United Federation. I have an immediate problem with the signs on the side of the building, because there's a sign for their champion, which is the Hammer. This is the champion's name. And there's a big sign for WrestleManiac, the dog that doesn't work for them yet. So they made one shot of this building, and they were like, yeah, just CG. We don't have the budget to CG another. Just use that again. So even though this belongs later in the movie, they left it here just to save a couple of bucks because they're lazy motherfuckers. So, blah, blah. Wrestling Dad makes a deal with Vince McMahon with added monkey banter. There's a big cardboard cutout of John Ratzenberger, who was a large man, in a wrestling unitard, because he's just an allegory for the real Vince McMahon, who also wrestled. He also had big cardboard cutouts of himself. Anyway, they agree that Vince will own 51% of the Ferraro wrestling business and can feature Russell in return for fixing up the Ferraro building, letting Wrestling Dad use the WF wrestlers. Blah, blah, fucking blah. There's a lot of, contract negotiation in this movie, which is probably the closest thing to actual wrestling there is, in fairness.
It seems strange for a children's movie, but okay.
You'd think, yeah. There's a lot of wrestling stakes that apply to real life, which is what Vince McMahon wishes was true. That he could win friends and influence people by wrestling a bigger man. I don't know. So there's a scene where Russell beats a Mongol. They name his signature move the Russell Tussle, which is just the dog. And when I say the dog, I mean a CGI version of the dog bounces off the top rope and flies into someone's chest with all 4 paws and then does a flip back off of them. That's the Russell Tussle. That is a devastating move.
How is that a tussle?
I'm sorry. Let me correct you. It's called the Russell Tussle because the word tussle rhymes with the dog's name, which is Russell. Which, by the way, the dog's name is Russell because he is a Jack Russell Terrier.
I'm not following.
It's okay. I'll explain it again. I'll type it out to you, and I'll type it slowly so you can understand me. So Wrestling Dad, Russell, and Hunk head out on the road. We get yet another montage. There's been 3 fucking montages so far. This time we get Russell on magazine covers as we see Wrestling Dad and Russell and Hunk are away and can't be at any family events like Easter and the kid's birthday and all kinds of fucking shit. Eventually they get back in time for Wrestling Dad to tell them that he and Russ have to immediately leave to go do press for the upcoming title match, which is apparently happening. Wrestling Dad gets in the car to go off with Vince McMahon, and his wife, from across the parking lot, sends him a text message that says happy anniversary with a bunch of broken hearts, which is talk about your problems.
Gotta shoehorn that little fucking love thing in there.
He was supposed to go fuck her while Grandpa watched, but instead he took Russell to go sign autographs with his thumbs that dogs definitely have. Eventually he gets back, and there's an anniversary table in the ring. She's pissed that he spends no time with them, but he makes it up to her immediately by revealing that he's fixed up that sewing machine I mentioned way earlier on page 1 of the movie. So, anniversary saved, I guess? The timing of this movie just never works. They only really focus on the beginning and the end, and everything in the middle is just forced and squashed, and, they go from, oh, hey, this dog can wrestle, to, 8 minutes of movie later, he's in a title match, and it's ruining your family. The span of time is, and I'm not really being facetious, it may be 10 minutes, but it's really not long.
That's so weird.
They go to the family being in tatters, a snap. It's ridiculous.
That's Robert Vince writing for you, I guess.
I know, right? Isn't it just so great to see it again? So we get a weigh-in for the championship match Russell is going to be in. For the love of fucking God, Bob, amigo, call up Spaghetti, because for the last fucking time, weigh-ins happen in boxing and not in wrestling. You stupid motherfucker. Watch one episode of SmackDown, for the love of God. So, we meet the current WUF champion, Helix Monroe, the Hammer. Hammer is played by former WWE star, current TNA heavyweight champion, current Lucha Underground star, John Morrison / Johnny Impact / Johnny Mundo. For the sake of brevity, I'll call him by Johnny Mundo since he's not in WWE anymore, and Lucha Underground is totally awesome, and TNA isn't real. Johnny Mundo, I did not like him in WWE at all. He's a talented-ish wrestler, but very flashy. I didn't like his character. They didn't do anything with him, and he never impressed. But ever since he's been out of the big-time companies, he's done very well for himself, and he's actually grown on me quite a bit. He shows up everywhere. He's like the wrestler that will do anything, but instead of just being like, Ric Flair doing stuff to fuel his habits, he's just like, he's actually turns out pretty cool. Like, he's a cool guy. And he's also like, I think I mentioned it later. He's like the only wrestler ever to be a world champion in 4 companies, which is kind of cool, actually. I mean, for people who like wrestling, that's like kind of a feat that no one's ever done before. Anywho, he's like a big swaggering idiot. He ends up in a staring contest with Russell, but he loses because Russell just starts licking him on the lips. We see an external shot of the WF building. By the way, yes, it's WUF, so that when you say it together, it sounds like wolf.
Right.
Fuck you, Bob Vince. I see here that I was wrong about the building signs I complained about earlier, because now Russell and the Hammer's names are reversed, and it's a different shot. So why was Russell's name on the building earlier if he didn't work there yet? And more importantly, why do I care?
That is a good point.
In the locker room before the title match, wrestling dad and son prep Russ for the match. We see in the corner the cardboard cutout of John Ratzenberger and his unitard just there. It's just sitting there. I think they just wanted to get as much mileage out of that thing as possible because
they made it. Yeah.
In this, I respect Robert Vince just a little bit because I think he found the fact that he got Cliff Clavin into a unitard hilarious.
Do you think the actor got to keep that?
I really hope.
Because that would be in my contract if I was in that situation.
If you made a cardboard cutout of me in a unitard, you would get sick of seeing me with it.
I would just put it in the shower all the time, just to frighten my wife.
Like, are you fucking that thing? No.
Why did you shove a pocket pussy in the crotch?
No. So Budget Vince goes to Johnny Mundo and orders him to drop the belt to Russell tonight. Mundo agrees with him, saying he refuses to drop his belt to Russell, but Budget Vince, which I now realize is what I should have called him from the beginning, bribes Mundo to go down by writing a figure on a piece of paper and handing it to him. Mundo then asks, what round should I go down in? Okay, now, Robert Vince is just a lowly spawn of Satan, residing in the bowels of hell within a summer home in California, allegedly. His lack of access to human beings in the nourishing light of rays of the sun within his earthy tomb of demonic hellish delights might addle him to realize that boxing and not wrestling, in fact, has rounds, because wrestling does not, in fact, have rounds. Never has, to my knowledge. So it distresses me that Johnny Mundo, who has competed all around the world, doesn't correct the script. I mean, not the whole script, because I have to pray he didn't read the whole thing, but at least his own line. Fuck's sake, Johnny, this is shit why I didn't like you in the first place. So, Hunk...
I don't think you step to Robert Vince and correct him.
Yeah.
He's a big wheeling, big dealing hotshot of a man.
I like to think you go to Robert Vince to say there's something wrong with the script, and he just pulls out his dick and holds it. He's just like, what am I doing right now? Holding my dick. That's what I think of you. Get out of here.
That's a good move.
It really is.
I'm going to try that at work.
Please don't. I need you to be in this show and not in jail.
Yeah, if I'm homeless or in jail, I probably can't podcast as often.
Hunk, who is hanging out listening, is shocked that the match is fixed. Isaac, he's shocked that the match is fixed.
He's
in shock that the wrestling match is fixed.
The monkey who's been in the wrestling family for decades.
Yes.
I'm gonna murder someone.
Wrestling alert. Because there's certainly no science involved.
Yeah.
Wrestling matches are predetermined. Professional wrestling is not a merit-based sport. It is a sport. It is a television or live event program.
Although, to be fair, how does that play out with kids? Is it like Santa Claus, where little kids still think it's real until they're like 10 or 12?
Well, wrestling used to have a thing called kayfabe, which is they kept to their own universe. And like The Undertaker, we believe everyone in wrestling is going to just say, yeah, The Undertaker, yeah, okay, it's a new era, and we got phones and everybody's got their Twitter handle, but The Undertaker is still like a demon with magic powers.
Right.
That's how kayfabe works, because they try to keep that alive for the kids. They've kind of strayed away from that now. But, yeah, people still kind of know that it's fixed. People kind of know that it's not real. It's not really a question.
Oh, God.
So we get the title match. Hunk tries to warn Wrestling Dad that the match is fixed, but Wrestling Dad cuts him off before he gets a chance. As the competitors get introduced, Johnny Mundo was introduced as a former 2-time Intercontinental Champion. Weirdly, he was a 3-time Intercontinental Champion WWE, which I don't know. I feel compelled to bring that up because, like, just make it a 3. Make it match so that idiots like me who looked it up because we have nothing fucking better to do with our lives other than Wolverine fucking vehicles out of the snow and hate with the fury of 1,000 suns. Just don't make me have to look.
I think Robert Vince takes pleasure in the fact that you're stewing over this. And he's running to the bank. And his women and his yachts.
I want to imagine that he has like a car pulling a yacht to take him to the bank. And he's like, oh no, I don't touch the money with my hands.
He had a bank built in the middle of the ocean just so he could sail his yacht there.
We're gonna find out that Robert Vince is like a deathly fear of water, and our whole fucking just gag is gonna be up in smoke. So yeah, so the Hammer, his Johnny Mundo's character, it's just him doing his normal entrance gag that he does everywhere, which is fine, and he just adds like a hammer striking motion, whatever. So the match begins. It's not much. Russell ties up Mundo's laces and he falls over and pulls his hair with his teeth, which is an illegal move, of course, before jumping to the corner to showboat. Now, when Russ goes into the corner, which is wrestlers commonly go into the corner to do stuff, they've got a little board for him to stand on because I don't know if I mentioned this, but Russell is a dog.
Oh, shit. I didn't pick up on that.
Sometimes you may forget because I'm just using his name, but Russell is a terrier. He is having a wrestling match with a large man. It's really easy to just gloss over it because I've seen the movie twice, and I was at that point writing about it. This is a 20-pound dog competing in a wrestling match. He's got a little tiny board to stand on, and then like when he jumps off of it, but when I say he, I mean the CGI version of Russell that jumps and does a flip over Johnny Mundo. The board is magically gone, and I just pretend it's not there. Russell is showboating while Mundo is down, taking the time not to pin him. Mundo pulls out of his armband a dog whistle, which hurts Russell's ears, causing him to lie down and roll over, allowing Mundo to pin him and get the win. I'm pretty sure it was an actual dog whistle, too, because my dog, Seamus, who ironically is named after a wrestler. Yeah. Although, in fairness, he chose the name. I fired off names, and he chose it. And Seamus really did not like that fucking whistle. Like, every time he heard it, his head shot up, and he was, like, looking around like, what the fuck is that?
That's a real dick move.
Yeah.
To actually put, like, that high-pitched dog whistle in there. I mean,
like, it was not like a real dog whistle, because humans can't hear dog whistles. Like, you could hear this.
Oh, okay.
But it was, like, it was a high enough pitch that he did not like it.
They could have overlaid something above 20,000 hertz that you just couldn't hear.
True.
So you could hear the stuff lower, but there was also something... I could see Robert Vince doing that just to fuck people.
Yeah, like, I don't know if it was an actual dog whistle, but... whatever they used to simulate it, or if it was one, Sheamus did not like it. He was not having it. So anyway, so Johnny Mundo wins. Despite taking the payout, he didn't take a fall like he was supposed to. He's still the champion. Backstage, Mundo and Budget Vince are arguing about the payout, right in front of the wrestling family, of course, when Mundo says his pride wouldn't allow him to lie down to a dog and lose. He says now they can have a rematch and charge double, which Budget Vince gets gigantic dollar signs for eyes and agrees it's a great idea. So the family confronts Vince. Wrestling Dad says, and I quote, "Where I come from, wrestlers win on their own merit for the love of the sport, not by faking it." It's all wrestling is. That's all wrestling is. It's two guys agreeing we're going to very safely pretend to hurt each other. For money. And for the love of the sport, a bit. Sport, air quotes. But for money. And yeah. So Budget Vince reveals after Dad's impassioned speech that the contract he foolishly signed without reading, says that Russell is the sole property of Wolf and Budget Vince, and absconds with him, tossing the dog in a cage. Back at home, everyone blames Wrestling Dad for fucking everything up, even though he was just trying to provide for his family, which he totally was. Wrestling Son runs off to cry, and as Wrestling Dad gets up to go console him, Hunk says, No, hang on, I got this. You get chewed out by your wife. I'll raise your kids for you, you feckless turd. So, Wrestling Son and Hunk agree they can't leave things the way they are and decide to go mount a rescue mission to free Russell from Budget Vince's clutches. Despite having no legal precedent and further doing the family to not only not having the dog, but allowing further punitive action in the form of lawsuits, which will cripple the Ferraros, forcing the father to don his ridiculous wrestling unitard, not for wrestling, but for hooking, selling his body on the street just to get by.
I'm not sure what's real and what's a lie.
Well, no, I mean, if the son and the monkey are going to rescue the dog, because this is not The Incredible Journey 3, apparently. But if they do, the dog belongs to Robert Vince. No, Vince McMahon. God damn it. The dog belongs to Vince McMahon. That was not on purpose. So they're just going to get sued. So this is a terrible plan. And Derek from the pet store, having seen on the news that Russell now belongs to Budget Vince, goes to talk to the Ferraros. We see Wrestling Son and Hunk sneak into the Wolf Arena. Comedy burgling here. Eventually, the two of them free Russell after finding him and giving him a pep talk about how losing is in the end. He can make up for it, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, his spirit is broken or some shit. I don't know. Russ is free, and the three of them escape and meet up with the newly arrived Ferraro family out front, followed closely by Budget Vince and his Jew lawyer. I mean, it's just... He's clearly a Jew. I'm not saying it because I care. I'm just saying it because, of course.
How many yarmulkes was he wearing?
7.
Oh, I didn't know you could stack them that high. I guess to the 7th level.
He has no yarmulkes. So Derek shows up with the family. He reveals that because he adopted Russell way back in the beginning of the movie, he owns Russell and Budget Vince does not. So he hands Russell over to the Ferraros, and that makes the contract between Vince the null and void since he doesn't own him anymore.
How does the legality of owning a dog work?
I have papers.
I want to see what happens in a court of law.
Is a dog like a bearer's bond? Is it like whoever is holding the leash owns it? If I shoot you and take your dog, is it now my dog?
I'd say for all intents and purposes.
I don't think that's how it works. I think you have ownership papers.
You should try to steal a dog and see what happens.
I don't know. Those papers don't have my name on it.
There you go. So all I have to do is steal the papers, and then I could pretend it's my dog. Speaking
of dogs, by the way, and this is a real plea, if you've ever wanted to adopt a dog, they are outlawing greyhound racing in Florida, which is a huge win for people who don't want animals to be horribly tortured.
But there's, 8,000 greyhounds that suddenly need homes.
There's a lot of greyhounds that are going to need homes in the next 2 years. I adopted a former racing greyhound. I bitch about him a lot, but I love him like a son. He's got terrible stomach issues and cost me a down payment on a house, but I wouldn't trade it for a second. They're the best kind of dogs. If you've ever wanted a dog, you want to help. If you ever want to adopt a greyhound, if you've ever thought about it, because there's going to be a lot of... It's great that the sport's going away because it's horrible and they literally torture these fucking things and get them addicted to cocaine and do the worst things to them because they're awful, disgusting wretches of human beings that I hope die horribly. But there's going to be a lot of greyhounds probably going to die. So if you want to adopt a greyhound, no better time than the next year. Anyway... that was just happened in the news a couple of days ago, so I wanted to get that out there. What was I talking about? Wrestling, dogs?
Yeah, I think you were just starting to talk about Russell Madness. It's a Airbud movie?
Oh God, was that only the beginning? All right, so there's this fucking dog, right?
We are the Bowels of Netflix.
I'm Isaac, and this is my co-host Isaac. Hi, Isaac. Fatigue is setting in. So there's
it's a late night recording.
Vince has no contract now, but he does still own the Ferraro Arena, and he will evict the Ferraros if they don't give him Russell. I thought they wanted to leave anyway, so they'd be all about this. They have everything they want: the dog, the money. They've sold the arena, which is their reason for coming here in the first place. So Don't know why they're sticking around. Oh, because the strongest tag team is family. Anyway, the family doesn't want the deal where they give up Russ for the building, so they're ready to walk away. But Russell gives an inspiring speech where he says he will do anything for this family. And you don't give up, blah, 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 kids movie schlock. Hunk, translating for Russ, declares there will be a rematch between Johnny Mundo and Russell. Wrestling Sun declares, and this time it'll be for real.
Right?
Fucking... Bob, can I call you Bob? Bob, I feel like we've been through a lot together. You're killing me here, man. You're killing me. So the family and Budget Vince hash out and negotiate the details of the rematch. If the fucking dog wins, the family gets to keep building and dog. If the dog loses, Robert Vince gets everything. The match will be a tag team match, and it will take place at the Ferraro Arena. So we see the match getting ready to happen. Wrestling Dad is in his old, ridiculous, old-timey uniform and unitard, hyping himself up about money not being as important as family, while Dieter Das Munten enters the ring. From the beginning, he was the first one Wrestling Dad tried to hire. He is a large brick shithouse of a man.
So Brock Lesnar?
He's like bigger and broader than Brock Lesnar.
Jesus.
But he's like a big, like, what's like the mountains, the Heidi, Swiss? He's Swiss. Thank you. There we go. He's Swiss. Okay. What are the Alps? He's like an Alp, like he's got like the suspenders and the hat with the feather, and he says "Yodelay," who all that shit. And Mundo makes his entrance, and the crowd hates him. Russell makes his entrance, followed by his tag team partner. You want to guess who his tag team partner is, Isaac?
Russell's tag team partner?
Yeah,
the dad.
It's the son. It's Wrestling Son.
No.
Wrestling Son is 11 years old.
Of course it's Wrestling Son.
Dieter Das Munten is 7 feet tall. So Max and Dieter square off as the match starts, and of course Max wins. He's a tiny boy. He gets one over on Dieter by poking him in the eyes, which is an illegal move in wrestling. As the ref was watching, that's a DQ for Budget Vince's team. Dog theirs, match over. No, this is Robert Vince's wonderful world of wrestling, where the rules are made up and violations don't matter. To illustrate this further, Wrestling Mom comes into the ring and bonks Dieter over the head with her purse. Also illegal, also a DQ. Dogs belongs to Vince. Wrestling Son drop kicks Dieter before getting a body drop, and as he's getting pinned, he pulls out one of Dieter's nose hairs, and then kicks him in the balls, which is, once again, not a legal move in a wrestling match. You will be disqualified, sir. You lose. You get nothing. And then he gives him an atomic wedgie because it's a kid's movie. So Russ and Mundo get tagged in, and the rematch of the century begins. They get some really poorly edited wrestle maneuvers here, which, like, they show the dog, like, bouncing off the ropes. They show the CGI version of the dog, like, getting really agile, and the real dog, like, rolling in the ring. Very, like, he's, I mean, God bless him. He's a good boy. But
yeah,
he's like rolling like a dog. He's not. They showed like the CGI move, like of dodging Mundo, and then it's like cuts to the real dog, and he's like, "Do I get my pets now?"
Bad edits, yes.
Do I get a treat? I did my role. Do I get a treat? Do I get pets? So it's really bad. After this debacle, we see Mundo pull out the whistle again. Tries the same trick as before. Russ lays down as Mundo prepares to do his finishing move, which is the worst finishing move in wrestling history, and as normal with Johnny Mundo, he fucking misses it, because despite Johnny Mundo growing on me, he always misses that stupid, flashy, idiotic fucking move. Or he hits an opponent with a tiny bit of his head, and everybody pretends like he hit it. It's stupid. I fucking hate it. It's called Starship Pain, by the way, because of course it is.
That's the worst name.
Hopefully he named it something different by now. So Russ and Wrestling Son win, and the announcers declare them as the new tag team champions. This was not a title match, nor are Mundo and Dieter the tag team champions. It's just like someone taught wrestling Robert. God, my words fail me. It's like somebody taught Robert Vince a bunch of wrestling words, and he threw them all into the script with no rhyme or reason. It's like he put a bunch of pellets into a shotgun that had, like, tag team and over and punch and just shot it at the script, and this is what happened. A wrestling movie came out.
I think that's how he makes most of his scripts.
Honestly, yeah. I think instead of a shotgun, it's just his cum, though. So, Russ and Wrestling Son win, and the announcers declare them... Oh, wait, no, I read that already. Jesus Christ. So the family congratulates Russell, who Hunk reveals to have put earplugs in to not get fooled again, by the same trick Mundo used last time. Mundo himself throws Budget Vince out of the ring as Vince is yelling at him about losing, shouting, "You're not the boss of me." True to real life, but you're doing well for yourself, Johnny. God bless you. You didn't belong in Wrestle Madness. So we get a little wrap-up scene and a flash forward, and that's pretty much it. Just kind of fades away as we see the future where grown-up Wrestling Son and Russ are the tag team champions, having their hand and paw raised by Wrestling Dad. And the monkey is still alive in that shot, which is just wrong. That monkey will be dead by then.
And probably the dog, too.
Yeah. Yeah, the son's like an adult now.
Yeah. At least the dog wouldn't be wrestling. That dog is like Ric Flair, like barely able to fucking walk.
Oh, Ric Flair still wrestles.
No, Ric Flair does not still wrestle.
I
He
mean,
flops around in the ring like the old, sad, drug-addled man he is.
all right, that's fair. So this movie, while terrible and dull, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. Will Sasso makes the monkey work. The dog in costumes is adorable as fuck.
Will Sasso makes the monkey work?
That sounds like that should be a rap lyric. Will Sasso made that monkey work. Monkey work.
If you ever go crazy with a typewriter, please make that be the thing you type 400 pages of. Especially without context. Oh, God.
I mean, he does make them. Oh, God. The dog in costumes is adorable as fuck. Ratzenberger makes for an entertaining villain. The family is trash and dull, but the tertiary characters aren't that bad. Honestly, for being the star, Russell doesn't talk all that much, or even do all that much. He's more of like a pawn to move the plot along than anything. Mm-hmm. He's just kind of there. If anything, it's more about Wrestling Son and Wrestling Dad than it's ever been about Russ himself. Whatever. Final thought. The joke is WrestleMania, not Wrestle Madness. Robert Vince, you dumb fucking idiot. And my rating, honestly, it's like a 3 out of 10, maybe even a 4.
All right.
It's not good by any stretch of the imagination. It's ridiculous. Like, seeing Johnny Mundo in the ring with a fucking terrier is absurd, but it's not my dog is freaking out. It's not like, I don't know, it's not entertaining or unentertaining. It just is. It's Wrestle Madness, whatever. Yeah. I think it's like a 4 out of 10. It's just there. And like
there's a certain, you kind of have to let things slide because it's a kids movie. I mean, I know there's really good kids movies out there, but I don't know. And it gets kind of a pass for some things.
Yeah, like Pup Star was so out of the realm of what the fuck. It's humans and dogs are doing reality shows. That's doing a hip hop. This is still more of like, this just seems a little more generic.
It's closer to the original spirit of Airbud, where it's dog plays basketball, dog plays soccer, dog does professional wrestling. Okay, we're getting a little weird, but better than fucking American Idol dogs. What? Right? Yeah, the Pup Star is so far out of the realm of what the fuck am I watching? But so it was just there. I don't know. I should have known with the talking monkey and all the wrestling stuff. If the monkey wasn't Will Sasso, I don't think it'd be as entertaining. But like, I didn't realize your love for Will Sasso. He's a very funny man. He is. Oh, now I know for next time. Steer clear Will Sasso. And monkeys and clothes. And if it's a monkey in a shirt, I mean, I haven't gone back and watched that Flintstones scene with the monkey on the piano. Oh, but I've thought about it more than once. It's very brief. I know, which is weird why I thought about it more than once. You know who loves apes? Vince McMahon. Really? The actual Vince McMahon, yeah. Why? I don't know. Chris Jericho, who was a very popular wrestler, wrote in his book that he once did a bit where like he went out in an ape costume to make fun of China or Stephanie McMahon, one of the two, I don't remember. And he came back. Well, he had like a guy in an ape suit. And Vince was like giving him a standing ovation with almost a tear in his eye. And I've never forgotten about that. Oh my God. Yeah, that's it. 4 out of 10. Wrestling dog, monkey in suit. That's all I got. Well, that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very boring. It's very boring. I don't recommend it, but compared to what we have, it didn't make me actively angry, except for the fact that fucking Robert Vince doesn't know what the difference between boxing and wrestling is.
I can't believe how comfortable you are being led by the hand by Mr. Vince.
Yeah. I mean, knowing the man, I understand the man a little more. So,
what would you do if you found out that Robert Vince, his alter ego, was Shaggy 2 Dope?
I don't know. Look, I don't like the ICP. I'm going to call it, I have a grudging...
You love the ICP.
I have a grudging respect for them.
That's almost worse. You can like... No, that's worse. That's much worse. Respect them? It's one thing if you like them. Like, I kind of like what the fucking Spice Girls song, whatever that song was. Like, that's a catchy fucking song. When it comes on, I'm like, alright, I kind of like this. I don't respect it.
It's a grudging respect.
You're a sick man.
They've
You're
existed for this long. How long did the Beatles exist? I know you know.
Releasing albums, 8 years.
How long has ICP existed? I'd drop my mic if I didn't have to unscrew like 3 screws.
Why does length matter?
I don't know. Look, it's not length, it's girth. Anyway, we're the pals of Netflix.
Thank you so much for listening. You can find us online, Facebook and Twitter at Pals of Netflix.
I'm dying.
Send us an email, balsofnetflix@gmail.com, if you have seen this movie and you'd love to share how much the monkey inspired you like it inspired Larry. We'd love to hear that.
It didn't inspire me. It just wasn't... I don't know. It didn't make me as mad as other stuff does. I don't know.
Nah, you were inspired.
No, it was not.
Yeah, you were.
If I was
I see the twinkle in your eye.
There's never been a twinkle in my eye. I am a hateful, savage pessimist.
You'll go to sleep thinking that, and then as you drift off into the dream world where there'll be a monkey in a shirt, like, waiting to take your hand, a little smile will come on your face as you fall asleep.
To be honest, I don't think I'll ever think about this movie again. It's so dull. And my favorite animal is bears, so you fuck off with your monkey shit.
Yeah, we'll see.
God, you put a bear in a shirt? Holy shit. Winnie the Pooh? Oh my god.
Winnie the Pooh. I hate bears. Bears suck.
What?
Bears suck. Well, like cartoon bears. Paddington, Winnie the Pooh, fuck them all.
What's wrong with cartoon bears? I mean, I prefer
I don't know. I just don't like any of them. Yogi Bear, they're all fucking stupid. I have no respect for any cartoon bears.
You don't like Yogi Bear because he's making fun of Yogi Bear and you just like your baseball.
Yogi Bear was just great, though.
I don't know anything about Yogi Bear except...
You should look up some of his quotes.
Wasn't Yogi Berra... Who came first, Yogi Berra or Yogi Bear?
That I don't honestly know.
I really want... If I could go back in time and alter one thing, I would make the baseball player, Yogi Berra, be named after the cartoon bear, Yogi Bear.
I'm not sure how it actually came out, or shook out in the face.
Well, it's that. If I invent time travel, if I have done it correctly, then that's what it'll be, so...
My favorite quote from Yogi Bear, and he has tons of these, "No one ever goes there anymore, it's too crowded." And he has a ton of them just like that. But yeah.
God.
We are Pals of Netflix. Thanks for listening. And thank you, Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. All of the lovely music you've heard in this episode is from him. The full description is in the description for this episode, so you can check that out.
He's really got something for everything.
It's amazing. We've pulled different things for all kinds of weird shit we've decided to do. 2 weeks ago we had the layman's thesis, which I'm anxious for the next round of that because that was pretty exciting.
I don't know, man. I don't want to step on too many of your bits. I need that enough.
When inspiration strikes, because that layman's thesis is pretty good. I'll just have to give you more cowboy movies.
Oh God, please no. Give me more Robert Vince. Give me Pup Star Christmas. No more cowboy movies.
No, you need. I feel like you need a good grown-up movie now.
Yeah, can we get away from kids' movies for 5 minutes, please?
We'll see what Steven Seagal's up to.
No! God! I have your next movie picked out, and and someone's gonna get offended.
Oh,
Good
boy.
luck navigating that minefield, motherfucker.
I'm trying to decide for your movie because I have a weird one.
Well, next week you have another kids movie.
What? Fucking. What's it even called? Woody
Woodpecker.
Woody the Woodpecker. Well, I don't like it.
It's got Timothy Edmondson. He was Lassiter in Psych.
Yeah, and then he had a stroke and became a bird.
Did him? He's not the bird.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I don't know. So, yeah, next week we'll be talking about fucking Woody Woodpecker, was it 2017? It's a recent fucking CGI movie.
Can't wait.
Then, yeah.
Fuck you.
So make sure to stick around next week. It's gonna be interesting. You get to watch me suffer as we watched Larry not even suffer all that much this week. You son of a bitch.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you around.
Smell you later.